Hi everyone, I'm Daksha, and with us today we have Suraj. Suraj is a cinematographer and he has worked in multiple documentaries and short films. Suraj, we studied that you
Yeah.
have a very interesting profile and
hmm
you have studied science, commerce, arts. What were the reasons you took each one of them?
Was born to a family of scholars, basically. Growing up in an intellectual family leads you to make choices that they choose you. I was basically the lab rat, so they tried and tested most of the things on me, and one of them was my career, career choices. So, like in every family, we have our own relatives who make decisions, and parents tend to listen to that and things. So, yeah, they chose science, and they convinced me enough that I could change the stream and later on, and it had more wider options and things. Like any other idiot, I did the same mistake of believing, and I had to take up science. But it was one of the most memorable journeys because I kept failing in subjects, and there's nothing more stupid to me than attending these re-examinations appearing again and again. At one point, I had to say that this was not for me, and I withdrew from science. Then convinced my parents that I can do something else, and they said, "Okay, fine. What is your second choice?" I said, I think I'm going to take commerce. Maybe. Yeah, there was one condition from the house that at a very young age I had told them that I knew where I had to. Like, camera was my thing. Their condition was I give them a degree and then do what I want. For me, set that if you do this, then we hand on a camera to you, like any other parent. So, yeah, they handed over a camera during the last phase of my bachelor's. And then, probably after bachelor's, they were pretty convinced that, okay, fine, camera was my thing because I had given them what they wanted. That is a basic degree. Then moved on to study arts. I did my MSc in mass communications from Bangalore University. That's when I was still given total freedom to study what I want.
Okay.
That's how my journey of from science, commerce, and arts have been. I mean, that's how I've traveled through these three different subjects.
So,
Those would be the initial
yeah.
struggles. It's not struggling in the industry. For me, basically, education was struggling.
And like, was it like you always knew you wanted to enter the world of
Yeah,
cinema?
it was very sure at a very young age. Say, I think it was in eighth or seventh grade when I used to like borrow my brother's camera and one of my cousins' camera and randomly click pictures. Uh, Parents were never convinced to buy me a camera then. Later on, like when I was telling that I was interested in capturing frames, it was my mother who like inspired me more to do. Like she said, like telling stories through one image is like it's pretty decent, but how about going a step ahead and telling a story through many frames? So it was basically my mother, and she kind of like told, okay, fine, just be aware of this, that there's a world beyond photographs as well. And she knows more cinematography than me. I don't know. She's a housewife. She just takes care of us whenever we are at home. But she apparently, to be honest, yeah, she's been the main reason. Basically, since I've spent most of my childhood back in Mysore with my grandparents,
Yeah.
grandpa was involved in theater and drama and things. So my visual heritage remains of those huge lights, makeup, um, blocking, acting, and rehearsals, and those kind of costumes. It's a vibrant world, basically. I feel that might have left a really strong impact on what I'm today, what I'm thinking, or the direction I've taken now.
It is actually a really inspirational journey that how a young boy who looks around and it's somewhat what we read in stories that what we see around us
Yeah.
influences us, and that's actually what happened with
Mhm.
you. What you saw around you
Yeah.
influenced you and made you what you are today. So, what was that breakthrough moment that you realized that this is my career? And when you entered the world of cinema, so and you started your
Mhm.
career. So, when did you realize that okay, now I
Mhm.
think I've done something here?
Professional journey was on one side, but there was another personal journey that had happened. Like how it transited on a personal side was that okay, grandpa had done this, but who's going to take it over. Who's going to take over the art form to another level was the question. So probably it was only me among all the brothers who have like brothers and sisters. Like we are like around 8 of them. All have done. Most of them are engineers, and one's going to be a scientist or something as such. But I'm the only one who has like taken away from and I'm into arts. So at a personal journey, it was like more to do with my family. But at a professional level, I think after my MSc, I was looking for a job and I wasn't eager to take up any job in news channels. I got a lot of offers. I wanted to get into filmmaking in the very colorful world that I have actually visualized. I did not manage to like get in touch with the industry very well because I had no one to like connect me to that world. But then my neighbor, her name is Ziba, she connected me to one of these directors whom I worked with, mm, who I started to work with. He's VK Prakash. He's a two-time national award winner, and he's made some really nice, amazing Malayalam movies. I joined him initially as an assistant director. I was the worst assistant director that any director can ever have. Technically, because I wasn't interested in direction.
Okay.
And I did not know what to do because textbook, what I've studied is different from what is working in the practical world. And I was the worst really. Like I remember, I think it was on Independence Day, like three years back. That was the last day of my internship at VK Prakash's office, and he came on top and he asked me like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm sitting. I'm doing this production package for your ad film." Like, okay, what are the languages you know? I said, I can speak Kannada. I can speak little of Tamil. I can understand few of the South Indian languages. Ah, you can speak two languages. Okay. Do you want to work with me? I said, why not? What's the project? I mean, no one talks to a director like this, but I'm like talking so casual without noticing like who he is because I'd not gone by the face value of the organization or who he is. I never knew that he even had won like 2 national awards until I started to work with him. Back of my mind, the first thing that will always be there, who's the cinematographer? Because my interest is in cinematography, I asked who's the cinematographer. I didn't ask anything else. Like, don't tell me the story and anything. Just tell me who's the cinematographer. He said PC Sriram. PC Sriram sir was is one of my idols whom I look up to. Man, I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yes, sir, why not? Why not? I'll definitely work. That was the only sole reason. Like, there's no other reason like why I accepted the film. I took it up because it was because of PC Sivaram sir.
Which film was this?
It's Prana. It was Prana. Nitya Menon had acted in it.
Okay.
Then I finally decided that assistant direction wasn't for me.
Okay.
Then I had to start concentrating more on cinematography.
Okay.
Then usually during shoots we tend to meet other technicians like gaffers and first camera assistants and things. In when I was like working on some ad film, I met this gaffer by name Kiran. He's a really nice gaffer back in Bangalore. Gaffers are one who do light design for all the films and ad. So I met him and I said that I want to join the lighting department. Can you take me? He was like, "Are you sure you're an assistant director? You're coming in as a lightman. What's wrong with you?" I said, "No, I'm pretty sure that I have to learn lighting first and understand." I never knew even what lights exist. So I then kind of like joined the lighting department. Initially, I worked as an intern. Then I'm as a lighting technician. Then I used to work as a best boy. Best boy is gaffer's assistant. And after that, I worked on a series of ad films and feature films as in the lighting department. Then I kind of wrote. I applied for this course for the cinematography course, and I got selected for that with a pretty decent portfolio.
What was the most challenging part of your work? Like one most challenging thing that you would like to share with us?
The most challenging part so far has been the language. I've been shooting in languages that I don't understand.
Okay.
So one of these challenges have been the language. Like
so
cinematically.
coordinate if
Yeah.
there's a language barrier?
Mm, Cinema is one language. So irrespective of the country that I'm working in, or the language in which they speak, cinema has been the common language. So I feel that when I sit with the director, understanding the context and the script in detail helps me a lot. Thankfully, I've worked with directors who also speak English. So though the script is in Hungarian or Estonian or Irish or beat anything, I've had it translated to English, and then I kind of like go through those script, and we discuss a lot about blocking in prior, like how the actors can move around in the scene, um, how can these camera angles like convey information to the audience and or in the overall film. Even in terms of light, what bit can I do to set the mood, convey some kind of language in it? So as a whole, I kind of see it as a cinematic language, which when you closely work with the director, you kind of get a frequency and you get along with them.
It really is pretty wonderful when, what all is written into books, it just comes out true.
Yeah.
Like in book, we read that you don't need a
Yeah.
language to express your words or your feelings.
Yeah.
And this is literally what's been happening with you. You've been understanding everything going around you by the same love for cinema that you guys share.
Every crew member has got stuck in a bog at least once. I've had my first camera assistants with rig getting stuck in bogs, and we have to pull them out technically, like, manually, like pull them out, and it was quite fun, like to get stuck.
Okay.
I mean, these kind of set challenges have been pretty normal.
Okay. All the best to you for all your future endeavors. I really hope all of them work out the way you wish them to.
Yeah.
And it was really nice talking to you and knowing about your journey and your work. I'm definitely sure like everyone who's watching this will be very inspired and motivated to chase their dreams and succeed in it. Thank you so much, Suraj.